What up, gang of Lane Carolina Jackpot coming at you. It is February 14th, 2021. That means it's Valentine's Day because it's February 14th. Boy, it sure don't look like no Valentine's Day outside here. It's raining, it's cold, it's nasty, and everyone would rather just stay inside, right? Can't even do any damn yard work today, and it's a Sunday. I don't know how many Sundays in a row I've been off of work, and I ain't been able to do yard work. I love doing yard work. It's one of my 3 or 4 hobbies that I love doing in this world, on top of drinking beer, talking shit, talking sports, and filming videos for YouTube and scratching lottery tickets. Anyway, you can't do it right now, so we're going to make a video talking about someone who's near and dear to my heart, and that would be Jadeveon Clowney. And this video is not going to be so much about Jadeveon Clowney, but he's kind of a stepping off point for this video. Let's rewind life 10 years to February the 14th, 2011. Right? And a young man from South Point High School in Rock Hill, South Carolina, named Jadeveon DeVaris Clowney, who was born on February the 14th, 1993, announces his commitment to the South Carolina Gamecocks to play his college football. He actually put off his commitment a few days after National Signing Day because he wanted to commit on his birthday. There ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. He was like the #1 player in the nation. He was the best of the best. This guy was one of just a few who have carried a perfect 1.0000 rating in the star composite thing from 24/7 Sports. Now, your guys who are 5 stars are like 0.996 or 0.995, 0.994. He was a 1.00. There's only been a few other guys who have been 1.00 perfects. Robert Nkemdiche in the 2013 class was one. Rashawn Gary back in 2016, who played for Michigan, and Vince Young, Texas quarterback, who led them to a national championship, were also just a few of the 1.00s that there have been. So landing this guy was a hell of a coup for South Carolina, beating out Alabama for him. They beat out Clemson for him. Now, if you ask a Tater fan, they will tell you that the reason why Jadeveon Clowney committed to South Carolina, didn't go to Clemson, was because he wasn't smart enough to get into Clemson. He wasn't smart enough to get in there. Let me tell you something. If he'd wanted to go to Clemson and that's where he wanted to go, they'd have made sure he got in there. They just would have. Okay, they would have made sure that he got in there. So South Carolina finished that year on a really high note in recruiting, and we were on top of the world then. We were on top of the world. We really were. We were coming off of a season where we finished with a 9-4 record. I may have to fact check that. But we lost it was a 9-5 record, I believe it was. We ended up the regular season 9-3, and then we lost in the SEC championship game to Auburn. Really bad. Everybody knows about it. It was really bad. It was the worst beatdown in the history of the SEC championship game. Goddamn, everybody in the world knows about it. We lost to the eventual national champions. We lost to the eventual Heisman Trophy winner. It was our first time being there, and by God, we just got our ass kicked. And, that's just the most embarrassing thing in the world. Then we lose the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Now it was once known as the Peach Bowl, then they know it's the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Now they know it as the Chick-fil-A/Peach Bowl. To Florida State, like 28-19. I think really embarrassing loss, really. South Carolina shouldn't have lost that game. But we were still riding high. There was a lot of hope. Everybody was really optimistic coming off of that SEC championship game appearance in 2010 for 2011. And football really was in a better place then than it had ever been at any point in our existence. And then things happened. They did. They clicked. Things happened. we reeled off three consecutive 11-win seasons at South Carolina, three consecutive 11-2 regular seasons, or seasons total, I believe, 11-2. Finished in the top 10 3 years in a row, 2011, 12, and 13. First team in the state of South Carolina to do that. Jadeveon Clowney ended up being a pretty damn good player. Ended up making the All-SEC team as a freshman, ended up making the All-SEC team as a sophomore, and was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year as a sophomore. He capped off his sophomore season with a huge win over Michigan in the Outback Bowl that everybody remembers. The hit that he delivered on Michigan running back Vincent Smith in, early in the fourth quarter of that game, I think. He sent Vincent Smith's body flying one way, helmet flying the other way, and the ball flying the other way. And then he recovers the fumble. Momentum is captured, and South Carolina goes on to a huge win. That was like, we weren't on top of the college football world rankings-wise, but feelings-wise, we were on top of the college football world when that happened. I remember that vividly. But, things kind of, the next season, they really kind of, we didn't live up to expectations, in my opinion. In 2013, we were expected to be like a top 5 team in the country, which at the end of the season we ended up being. But we were expected to compete for the SEC championship, possibly make that SEC championship game again, and maybe challenge to go to the BCS national championship game. I think it was. That would have been the final national championship game. You laugh if you want to, but those things are true. They're just true. We had the team, we had the studs, we had the horses in place to do it. We had Connor Shaw, we had Mike Davis, we had Clowney, we had a host of athletic receivers and guys on both lines of scrimmage that could have gotten the job done. But that season was just kind of, we didn't blow teams out like I thought we would. We didn't come out there with the energy and fire that I thought we would. Clowney, who ended up getting double teamed a lot that season, really didn't look like himself. People called him lazy. People, said he faked injuries, that he didn't want to play in games. I remember him coming out for the game against Kentucky that year with a sling on his arm right before the game started, playing that game. South Carolina still finished the regular season up 10-2, which included the 5th straight win that year over our rival, the Clemson Taters. There was just a couple of disappointing losses that year. The teams we shouldn't have lost to. We lost on the road to Georgia, 41-30, I think it was, and a year that we should have beaten them. We'd beaten them 3 years in a row. This team, we were clearly better than them, but that we went down there, they had a chip on their shoulder, and they kicked our ass. They beat us up on the lines of scrimmage. They had lost to Clemson the week before, so they had an extra added chip on the other shoulder, and it just didn't work out for us. And then inexplicably, South Carolina loses to a horrible Tennessee team in Butch Jones' first season there. I think they finished up 5-7. This is one of the 5 wins. And that was the one that de facto knocked us out of the SEC championship game that year and gave it to Missouri, a team that came out of nowhere, ended up ranked in the top 5 that we went on the road and beat. But they still were able to get into the SEC championship game because they won the rest of the games that they should have. They won the rest of the games that they should have. And over the last 10 years, we use that as a big mantra for South Carolina football. Win the games you're supposed to win. That's a thing that we haven't been able to do. We have not been able to win the games we're supposed to win. You look after that. And just after that 2011 recruiting class at South Carolina, the recruiting classes, and these are just ranked by 24/7 Sports. 2012, we finished number 15. We landed Shaq Rowland, a guy who had a lot of talent, but ended up kind of fizzling out, having some personal problems, and never really amounted to a whole lot. Mike Davis, a guy who still plays in the NFL to this day. Perry Orth was in that class. He's kind of got a cult following as a backup quarterback for us. a few years back. 2013, we ranked 20th nationally. Sky Moore, linebacker who played 4 solid years for South Carolina, was in that class along with Pharaoh Cooper, utility guy, wide receiver, slot receiver, just did a lot of things for us as well. 2014, we finished up number 19. Chris Lamons, NFL player for the Kansas City Chiefs right now, is on that team along with, or in that class, along with Deebo Samuel of the San Francisco 49ers, who was a 3-star who came from Chapman High School in Edmond, South Carolina, not too awful far from where Carolina Jack Pomper had. 2015 season, we ended up number 20 in recruiting. We pulled in 3-star Rashad Fenton, who plays in the NFL right now, along with Joseph Charlton, the punter, another NFL player right now for the Carolina Panthers. Yes, you can laugh at me. I'm drinking Michelob Ultra right now. Carolina Jackpot trying to lose a little bit of weight. 2016, that would have been the first Will Muschamp recruiting class. And the one that he finished up, we ranked number 25. Dropped a little bit. You can see there was a couple of decommitments there, I do believe. Brian Edwards, who he was still able to salvage as part of that class. NFL player, receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders, along with Parker White, field goal kicker, who is still going to be part of the team in 2021. He's going to be like a 5th-year senior or 10th-year senior. I don't know what he is. I'm glad to have him back. Parker White will be back again. 2017, we finished number 21, pulled in Shi Smith, be an NFL pick this year, along with Javon Kinlaw, who was an NFL pick last year, San Francisco 49er. 2018, we finished number 18. We pulled in Ricky Sandage, a 4-star out of North Carolina, Concord High School, I do believe. Defensive lineman, still on the team right now, along with DeCarrion Joyner. Quarterback for Dorchester High School in Summerville, South Carolina. Right now, he's playing wide receiver for us. He's played quarterback. He's done a lot of things. This is a guy who, I don't want to say has not lived up to his billing, because he hasn't been able to bill. He has not been able to bill. He's not a quarterback in the SEC. He's not an SEC level quarterback. I think he is an elite athlete. And I think that given the right coaching and given the right, just the right play calls, the right motivation, the right combination of a lot of things, I think he'll be a really good player. I think he's got a couple of years left to play. I hope he makes him productive. I really do. I like the guy. I like the kid. He stuck around with us through thin and thinner. I'll say that. Not through thick and thin, because shit ain't been thin since he's been here. I'll say through thin and thinner. He stuck around here. Now, I think he could have transferred somewhere else, but he stayed here. There's been a lot of speculation about that, too. He is a Gamecock, and I do appreciate him. J.C. Horn, future probably first-round draft pick in the NFL draft. Cornerback, we all know about him, very talented individual. Israel Mukwamu, another kid who will be drafted this year in the NFL draft, was part of that class, along with Kingsley J.J. Ngabare, defensive lineman who got a little bit of an attitude problem, but sometimes that's all right. When you play on the defensive side of football, have a little bit of an attitude problem. He'll be back again for his senior season. Looking forward to see what JJ can do for us. In 2019, we ranked number 21. We pulled in 5-star Zach Pickens from T.L. Hanna High School in Anderson, South Carolina, right out of the backyard of the Taters. And Ryan Helinski, 4-star from Orange, California, quarterback who everybody knows about. He is a member of the Northwestern Wildcats now. Ryan transferred out. 2020, we ranked number 19. We pulled in 5 stars Jordan Birch from Hammond Academy in Columbia, South Carolina. Another kid that was coveted by many, along with Marshawn Lloyd, 4-star from DeMatha in Maryland. Running back who didn't play a lick last year because he tore his ACL in like the first drill of like the first down practice. But it was literally that morning, the first practice, he tore his ACL. Terrible injury, but he's rehabbing good. Coach Beamer says he's looking good, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play this year. That guy's going to do a lot of things for us. And Luke Doty, who started out as backup quarterback for South Carolina this year, and just did a lot of impressive things for us, given the circumstances he was in. He's a good kid. He's got a lot of athletic skills there. And will he be the starting quarterback in 2021? I don't know. Probably. We'll see. But the thing about it is, these classes, you look at these 10-year stretch, we average number 19 in the country. We, in 2021, finished number 78. Number 78. That was good for 14th in the SEC. We were very last in the Power 5. I believe there may have been one team underneath us. We only signed 13 kids. We signed 13 kids. But everybody's in an uproar. I'm hearing from Clemson fans. I'm hearing from Georgia fans. I'm hearing from here, there, and everywhere. Oh, God, jackpot. I mean, your team's falling apart. You're ranked number 78 in recruiting. Jump off the ship. No, damn it, no. Let me tell you something. You only sign 13 players. Most years you're signing 25. You're signing 25, okay? That's why your star rating is so damn low right there. That is why your star rating is so low. You lost a lot of commitments. I mean, these kids are going to go elsewhere. Muschamp was recruiting them. He's gone. T-Rob was recruiting them. He's gone. Brian McClendon was recruiting some of these kids at one time. He's gone. All these guys that were recruiting these kids, Des Kitchings, gone. Now, he just left for a job a few months ago. I think a lot of the kids knew that, the staff was going to turn over totally. Mike Bobo, gone. All these guys that were recruiting these kids are gone. So these kids are going to go elsewhere. It is to be expected. It is to be expected. I mean, it really is. And everybody wants to say, well, look at this team. Tennessee's still ranked number, blah, blah, whatever. They lost their head coach. Well, you know what? You can all blame this back to the shithead Muschamp, because he had this team ranked about goddamn 50th before he decided to get his ass fucking fired for not doing a very good damn job. He got his ass fired. He had a terrible recruiting class going on before he left. But you want to blame it on Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer's had to come in and pick up the damn broken pieces. Shane Beamer's had to be the guy who puts the toys back together again, or tries to. And I think he's done a damn good job of it. You know, he's went out. He had to assemble an entirely new coaching staff, save for a couple of guys he left as holdovers, that he was decent enough to leave on this damn staff and tell them, you still got a job here, and then they go and fuck him over and take jobs somewhere else, and he still had to go out and find someone else. Now, to his credit, I think he's a pretty smart guy, because he had replacements. He had replacements coming pretty damn soon, because I think he knew in the back of his mind he had a replacement for every one of these damn coaching positions lined up, ready to call, ready to text, or whatever as soon as they left. Because he knew that he couldn't trust anybody. They stabbed him in the back. I mean, he's got screwed over. And, I get it. You get a chance like Tracy Rocker to go coach your alma mater. Well, man, go coach your damn alma mater again for the third time. You get a chance like Des Kitchings to go coach in the NFL. Go coach in the NFL, dude. One of the worst teams in the NFC South. But, I mean, go do your thing. Go do your thing. Mike Bobo, you get a chance to go coach at Auburn, go coach at Auburn for $800,000 more a year. Well, the expectation is going to be higher, and they're probably going to fucking fire your ass if you don't produce. But hey, y'all go on ahead and leave. So, I mean, that's the main thing. We're looking at 10 years. We're looking at a 10-year stretch, and where has our team gone from 10 years ago to now? And, I have to look back to that fateful day in 2015 when Steve Spurrier, he made the decision to quit. He made the decision he didn't want to be there anymore. He should have stayed the rest of the year. He should have, in my opinion, coached a few more games and then made the announcement that he was going to retire at the end of the season. Because in theory, I just think that things wouldn't have been such a clusterfuck if he did that. And you look at it and say, well, Jack Pot, I mean, he gave them like a 7-8 week jump on finding a new head coach. And all y'all can come up with Wolves Will Must champs. And, I thought that for a long time. I thought the same way. But then I thought, too, everybody was just shell-shocked probably for a few weeks and didn't know what to do. So they really didn't get that jump. They didn't get that jump that you thought they would get. And things I don't think were really in motion until a few weeks later. I just think that if Spurrier had done what he was supposed to do, and if he had decided he was going to retire at the end of the year, he would have put the wheels in motion for some other coaches out there to put some things turning in their head, saying, maybe I want a shot at this job. He's only been gone because the product wasn't stained at that time. The product wasn't stained. It was soiled because the 2015 season wasn't going exactly like it should have been going, but it wasn't stained. They could have probably gotten that young Tom Herman at that time. And say what you want to about Tom Herman. Say what you want to about Tom Herman. He was winning 8-9 games a year at Texas. If he wasn't winning 8-9 years at South Carolina, or waiting 8-9 games a year at South Carolina in 2016, 17, we would have built a statue out there of the man. We really would have. We would have renamed the road in front of the Bojangles over here, Tom Herman Boulevard. Right? At Texas, they're going to fire you for that. But over here, you would have gotten an exit off of I-77 where I-26 connects with it called Tom Herman Boulevard. You just would have. Kirby Smart, it may have, something else may have triggered it. Yeah, who knows? We could have Kirby Smart Street down there right now because he's winning 9-10 games a year. But things were thrown into kind of a clusterfuck. They really were because of that. And then the best you can come up with is Will Muschamp. And I've tried to be nice I blame a lot of this on Ray Tanner. I really do. We had an athletic director from 2005 through 2012 at South Carolina named Eric Hyman. He made a lot of good hires, like Don Staley, like Frank Martin, who I've already spoken my piece about him, that he is a good basketball coach. He's a good basketball coach, and he has a bigger name than what you would normally see coming to South Carolina. They made a hell of a coup by getting him here. He has not been recruiting up to the same level that he normally has, and I think there are some inherent issues there, too, with him personally that is causing this team to not be as good as they are. He is a good basketball coach, okay? Some of these people were the people that were brought in under one Eric Hyman. He was there right at the beginning of the Steve Spurrier tenure. I don't believe he's the one that was really facilitated bringing him in. I think that was Mike McGee, the director before him. But he was there during that transition. Ray Tanner, since he has been here, has been all thumbs. He's been all thumbs. He promoted his buddy Chad Holbrook to the coaching position at baseball. Really do a hell of a damn good job. They hire some guy named Sean Kingston in. We'll see what ends up happening with this. Mark Kingston, excuse me. But it hasn't gone great the first few years he's been here. Of course, we all know about the Will Muschamp debacle. Just, total shit show. And Georgia fans right now, they want to see her. They throw shade on Muschamp. They made fun of him when he was at South Carolina, talked shit about him and everything else. But now that he's one of their own, they want to sit here and defend him and say, well, it wasn't Will's fault. Y'all just couldn't bring no talent in. Guess what? Those numbers don't lie. They don't lie. We've been able to bring the talent in over a 10-year stretch. Average rank of number 19. Average rank number 19. We've been able to bring the talent in. The talent hasn't been being developed. It hasn't been being developed. Will Muschamp went through 3 offensive coordinators in 5 years. He goes through Kurt Roper, he goes through Brian McClendon, and then he ends up with Mike Bobo. 3 different guys in 5 years. Dabo Swinney up at Clemson, as much as I can't stand to talk about him, he's basically went through Billy Napier in 2 years And then he kept Chad Morris for like 4 years. And then for like 5 years, he keeps Jeff Scott and Tony Elliott. I don't even count Jeff Scott leaving his program and going to University of South Florida as a head coach. I don't even count that as a loss because they still kept the other guy, Tony Elliott, that was with him. I mean, it was like a 50-50 package. So, I mean, they keep part of the 50-50 package there. You can't count that as a loss. Defensively, he's kept the same coordinator there for years and years in Brent Venables. I mean, Muschamp turns over coordinators like he's turning over his underwear after a long day, just changing drawers. He's changing coordinators. And is it the coordinators or is it him? Is it the coaching staff? Is it the assistants they're hiring? I mean, what is the problem? What is the problem? Shane Beamer, when he's gotten here at Columbia, he has said that you cannot tell me that we don't have top-notch facilities, we don't have top-notch fans, we don't have the ability to attract top-notch athletes. You cannot tell me that we don't have what we need here to win at a high level. And I believe he's right. I believe he is right. But somebody's got to put it all together, man. Somebody's got to be the one to put it together. And for me, just looking at things, as far as my fandom goes, the first memories I can really have of South Carolina football are around 1979, 1980, when South Carolina won 8 games, both seasons, went to a bowl game, lost them. They lost their bowl game they were in for the first 7, back when Jim Carlin was the coach and George Rogers played for the Gamecocks. My first football game that I ever remember going to at South Carolina. The first one I ever went to was in 1980 when South Carolina played the Citadel in a November game at Williams-Brice. And guess what? We won that one. South Carolina and George Rogers won 45-21 over the Citadel, who had, which is a strange twist, they had the leading rusher in the 1AA. The FCS or FCS right now, named Stump Mitchell, who ended up playing for the St. Louis Cardinals, precursor to the Arizona Cardinals. It wasn't a baseball team, it was a football team. So that was pretty cool. I just remember as a young kid going down there, and our seats were not that far from the field. It was down climbing the corner near where the end zone meets the east lower deck. And they had a live bulldog mascot, and he took a dump on the AstroTurf sideline over there, down in the corner where their cheerleaders and stuff were. And I laughed. I told Mama, I said, "Mommy," I said, "who's going to clean that up?" But, that's my earliest memories of Gamecock football. They were pretty decent then. We had a few rough years in between. And then in the mid-'80s, when I was getting, into like high elementary, I guess, and middle school, with Coach Morrison was there. I can remember the 10-win season in 84, in 86. I remember us having a rough year, but Todd Ellis, man, he threw for like 1 million yards. He also threw like 1 million interceptions. But Sterling Sharp was on that team too. They were really good. 87, 88, they were like 8-9 game winners. And 89, I remember Todd Ellis getting hurt, and things kind of fell apart. And then Coach Morrison died. We hired Sparky Woods in. He did okay with his players for a couple of years. Things kind of faltered a little bit. And he ended up getting let go. They brought in Brad Scott. He hit the defibrillator on it and cut 94 and had it going a little bit. But then it fizzled back out. 95, 97, 99, you were winning 0 and 11 games, or 1 game. We lost 11 games 1 year. And then they hire in Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz brings it back. He hits the defibrillator again, and we're in the Outback Bowl 2 years in a row. We beat Ohio State out of nowhere. Those were great years. Then we go back in the doldrums. Then Steve Spurrier comes in, and he's hitting a rocky road for a few years. We're like, man, is this the same Steve Spurrier? Because this guy's like out here running the ball and playing defense. There ain't no fun and gun going on here. And then things started clicking in 2010, 11, and 12. And, we were happy. And we're like, we're on top of the world. When's the national championship coming? When's it going to start raining sugar down our way? And it never did. It never did. Things fell apart, and just it seemed like the wheels fell off in no time. Gamecock fans, will you not agree with me? The wheels fell off in no time between like that summer of 2014 and like the fall of 2015. It felt like our team and program just totally went from here just to here and then off the damn tracks into the hole. Thing that I can point to in game and point I remember is the game against Texas A&M. First game of 2014, I think it's September 1st or 2nd. Thursday night game. It must have been 99 degrees in Columbia that night on kickoff. I remember that because I was there. It was awful. Heck, I was a lot smaller, man. I was like 60, 70 pounds lighter back then than I am right now. And I was still sweating like, I don't know what, man. I was sweating like, I just traipsed through the damn swamp somewhere. I was nasty. Had sweat in between my crotch right here. I couldn't even hardly walk. It was so bad. And I went down there and watched us absolutely get our ass whooped. And I said, man, this ain't looking good. And I'm not, That year, we had one of the worst defenses that we've ever had in school history. We had the worst defense that we had in school history until 2020's team came and said, hold my beer. And then we had another bad one this year. But thing I'm trying to say here as I wrap up this video, and I know I've rambled a lot and went on a lot of tangents, is that for me and my fandom, it's time, man. It's time for things to change and move in a positive trajectory. Just start climbing gradually, and let's see if we can get up there to that 9-10 win plateau and keep it and solidify that for a few years, and then let's see what can happen. This year, with the 78th ranked recruiting class, no, we don't have the kids coming in. We're going to have to rely on these kids. We're going to have to rely on the Marion Brown from Georgia Tech. We're going to rely on the E.J. Jenkins from St. Francis. You want to laugh about it, 6'8"? That ain't no damn slouch. That's a grown-ass fucking man out there catching damn balls, y'all. Jason Brown, the kid from St. Francis, has been throwing to him since elementary school. Since these two was like in the womb together, throwing footballs back and forth to one another. They're going to have to make a damn impact. Kid from Georgia Southern on defense. They're going to make an impact. These kids from the transfer portal and these other kids we brought in, along with the other kids that are still there. I think we've got a coach now and a coaching staff that's hungry to make a name for themselves. I think these guys are actually going to develop the talent that's here. And that's the whole problem. That's the whole problem. Number 19. 10 years in a row, or over 10 years, average 19. If you want to go 10 points one way or the other, the worst you should be is number 29, number 30th in the nation on a consistent basis, being ranked, in my opinion, if you got the number 19 recruiting class. And we just have not been able to do it because we have not had developers of talent. We have not had coaching staffs there who were fluid. I think these guys are hungry. I think they want to make a name for themselves at the Power 5 level in the SEC. I think they got a chip on their shoulder, and I think that they're going to get this job done. I think they're going to do good this year. I'm predicting a 6-win season or so. 6, maybe 7 wins. We surprise some people. And then next year, 2021, we're going to steal a few. Or 2022, we're going to steal a few. We're going to steal a few. That recruiting class is going to be much better. It's going to be a hell of a lot better than somebody else might think. We're going to get back up in the 20s again. And then 2023 and beyond, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit for the Gamecocks. I'm proud that Coach Beamer is the head coach in Columbia now. Make no bones about it. I'm solidly behind him, 110%. Until he does something to make me feel like he shouldn't be there as the head coach, I'm behind him 110%. I'm behind his assistants as well. Go Shane Beamer. Go Clayton White. Go Marcus Satterfield. And go every damn body else that you hired underneath them. Go Torian Gray. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can do. I really am. Let's do it. I'm 46 years old right now. I'll be 50 years old in 4 years. I'll be heading into my twilight years. We need to bring home some kind of championship for Gamecock Nation, guys. We really do. The foundation starts here. You got a clean slate. Let's do this thing. I'll see y'all later. Appreciate it. Peace. I'm out. Go Cox. Woo!